the 5-second snapshot. Every 5 seconds, your computer captures a high-resolution image of your screen to build a perfect, searchable replica of your digital life. This is the core mechanism of Windows Recall, and as of May 2026, it has become the standard operating layer for all new Copilot Plus PCs. Unlike the rudimentary file search of the last decade, this system does not care about what you named a document. It captures the pixels themselves and processes them through a local neural engine. This creates a temporal database that can answer questions about a specific graph you saw in a meeting 3 weeks ago, or a half-written email you deleted yesterday. The operating system is no longer just a platform for launching apps, but a witness to your intent. This radical shift in architecture relies on a specialized piece of silicon that fundamentally changes how data is indexed on your hard drive, the NPU Vector Engine. To manage this constant stream of imagery without melting your battery, Microsoft requires a neural processing unit capable of over 40 trillion operations per second. This chip runs an on-device optical character recognition engine that strips text from images in real time. That text is then converted into vector embeddings, which are essentially mathematical coordinates in a high-dimensional space. Think of it like a library, where books are organized by the actual meaning of their sentences rather than their titles. When you search for a red car you saw in a video, the system calculates the distance between your query and every visual snapshot in its memory bank. This entire process happens locally, which is the only reason the privacy trade-off is even a discussion. However, the local nature of this data has turned your laptop into a single point of failure that requires extreme hardware-level defenses. The Titanium Enclave. After the initial architectural failures of 2024, Microsoft moved the entire Recall database into a virtualization-based security enclave. This is a cryptographically isolated segment of your system memory that the standard Windows kernel cannot touch. As of the May 2026 updates, your biometric identity is the only key that can unlock this vault. Using Windows Hello Enhanced Sign-In Security, the system ensures that even if malware gains administrator access, it cannot read the encrypted snapshots without a live fingerprint or facial scan. This creates a hardware-gated barrier between your history and the outside world. It is the most robust implementation of local data protection in consumer electronics today. But recent activity from the security community suggests that even a titanium vault has a weakness if the door is left open during use. The Drywall Paradox. The primary threat in 2026 is not a brute force attack on the encryption, but a ride-along exploit. Security researchers recently demonstrated a tool called Total Recall Reloaded, which targets the specific moment you actually use the feature. While the data is safe inside the enclave, it must be decrypted to be shown on your screen. The researcher noted that the vault door is made of titanium, but the walls around it are essentially drywall. If you are logged in and looking at your timeline, a malicious process can capture the decrypted output directly from the application memory. Microsoft maintains that this is intended behavior because the user has already authenticated the session. This creates a paradox where the more useful and accessible your memory becomes, the more vulnerable it is to anyone sitting in the background of your active session. This tension is forcing a complete rethink of how we define operating system boundaries. The Semantic Pivot. Windows Recall represents the end of the file-based operating system and the birth of the semantic OS, where context is the primary currency. By moving from simple indexing to the local OCR vector architecture, Microsoft has forced a transition where the computer finally understands what it is displaying, rather than just treating everything as a collection of binary files. This evolution means builders can now create applications that tap into personal context via secured APIs without ever sending sensitive snapshots to a cloud server. For the user, the risk has shifted from remote data breaches to the local honeypot effect, where one device holds your entire history. The success of this model depends entirely on whether the VBS enclave protections can survive the next wave of state-sponsored penetration tests. Watch for the results of the June 2026 European cybersecurity audits, which will determine if this local AI architecture is actually ready for high-security enterprise environments. Subscribe for more.